It's amazing the difference a week can make. Over the last week, we have been working on our suite here, and although we're still not finished, the difference from last week to this week is amazing. And it's so good to actually starting to see the finished product. We're starting to see paint go on the walls and to see the colors. It feels like it's been months where we have been sanding and scraping paint and doing all the kind of really boring jobs that you spend hours and hours on, and at the end of it, it kind of looks the same as when you first started, minus a little bit of sanding. So this way, when we're painting and when we're painting the walls and the trim, it just completely changes, and that is so exciting. And so this week we have been working on finishing the tiling in our bathroom and the paint, and I'm going to show you what it used to look like and what it's looking like now, and I think you'll be surprised. So it's time for us to finally lay our tile, and it is not the easiest of jobs with these little tiny hexagons that look fantastic, but they are definitely tricky to lay. But all Stephen's hard work and patience was worth it, because once the tiles were all laid, they looked just really awesome. The pattern is nice and simple, it's going to be very effective, and when we put the white grout in, it's going to really make everything pop. With the tile down, it was now time for us to start preparing the mantle for the top. So we had used a piece of wood, and we decided to put the same trim piece around the edge that we put on the edge of the platform that the tub sits on. So we used the same wooden decorative piece, and we glued it and we nailed it onto the edge just to give it a little bit of detail. So I have just finished doing the second coat on our sash windows that will go back into the dressing room, and Stephen has given me this really very cool tool. In fact, it might be one of my favorites. It's a little tool for scraping the paint, because what I found around all these windows is that many of them need reputtying, and that's something that we're going to have to do in the spring because it's too cold outside. But there's lots of places where there's lots of paint which has been kind of not cut in properly, and I'm trying to kind of clean these up so they look better. So he gave me this little tool, and basically what you do is you just scrape the glass with this little handy dandy tool, and it takes the paint off, and it's just brilliant. Like, it works so well. So I'm going around all the edges. I'm doing the other side because there's a lot of paint on the outside, and you can see this is the one I've already done. So you can see how clean these lines now look. Now, it's still not perfect, and as I said, in the spring we're going to be taking all these windows back out, reputtying them, and fixing any of the glass that's broken. But for now, this little tool is such a big help for making this actually look really good. So with the window now painted and cleaned up, I'm going to get them back into the dressing room, and then I'm going to take a bath tonight, because of my first experience of the tub, I wasn't going to do it without these windows in. It's too drafty. So the windows will go back in, and then I get in the tub. With the windows in, I was really excited to be able to actually start filling the tub with water. So the day has finally come when I get to enjoy my very first soak in our clawfoot tub. And so I have my candles ready, which are not real, they're LED, safety first. I have my bottle of bubbly, which I'm going to share with Stephen. I am not going to drink it all by myself. And I have the tub, all the water's been run, and it smells so good. I have some amazing jasmine bar salts that Joelle from Belle by Joelle gave me, and so I'm really excited to get in and soak. I have my towel ready too, and so I'm going to enjoy my very first bath. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I very rarely have baths. I'm a shower girl, but I'm feeling I might
this might just convert me because the clawfoot tub and the warm water and this view, well, tonight it's dark, but the view from this tub is amazing. So you never know, I might be converted to enjoying a really good bath. So I'm gonna get in and start soaking, and I'll see you later.
It wasn't long though before I was back at work staining the floor. So last night I stained the floor here in the dressing room behind me, and the wood has come up beautifully. You can really see the age in it. And so I'm now waiting 24 hours before I can start putting our top coats on. We're gonna put 4 coats of the top coat on and have to stagger them, so obviously to let them dry in between. So I'm gonna leave this for 24 hours, so I'm gonna leave it all day today. Tomorrow I'm gonna start the top coat. But today I have decided that I'm gonna tackle the painting in the bedroom. So I've cleared the room of everything except the furniture that I can't move. This unit behind is actually going to go in the dressing room. It's the bottom half of that really big mirror piece. We've taken the mirror off, but that bottom piece is really heavy, so it's staying right in the middle of the room. But I'm going to work around it. But I've cleared everything else, and I'm now starting the paint. So in this room I have my primer on the walls and 2 coats of top coat. I have 2 coats on the ceiling. I have all the trim, and then once all that's done, we can then stain the floor. So I am going to start today on my color blocking primer that's going to go over this green to ensure that none of that color bleeds through. So I've got my scaffolding ready to make it easier for me, and I'm going to see how much I get done today. So I'm going to get cracking. The bedroom started off with this green paint. We'd patched it and filled the holes. And then I started by putting on my color blocking primer, which made it much lighter, obviously, because it was white, although it looked very, very patchy. And then with 2 coats of the gray on, the walls looked fabulous, and it just transformed the room. So this is the part of the painting that I'm most excited about, because I've decided to do this ceiling in this suite in this really gorgeous pink. And the trim on the outside is going to be in the off-white, and then this is going to be pink. So I have it in my head. I have my vision for what it's going to look like. So I'm going to now start painting, and hopefully what's in my head is what becomes reality, and I love it. But this pink is just gorgeous, and I can't wait to see it. We actually had it, I had it, the color put onto ceiling paint, so it's got that flat matte finish like other ceiling paint as well. So I think it will have a really nice subtle feel to it, but let's see. Well, it worked. It turned out exactly as I'd envisioned in my head, and I just love it. So I thought I would give you a little tour. Now you've seen all the different jobs that we've been working on this week, and give you a tour of how it actually looks right now, and what our next steps are, so you can kind of get an idea of how the room is coming together. So as you saw, our walls are now all painted in this really beautiful light grey, and you can see here that the walls now go all the way around. They've had a primer, and they've had a second coat of, or 2 coats of the top paint. So those are all finished. You can see here that we have done the first coat on our mantle, and we're actually going to be putting tile into and covering that brick. So it's going to have a really pretty vintage looking tile over the brick. And then I've just started yesterday painting the trim, so you can see the baseboards are starting, and all this trim work has just had 1 coat so far. So again, you can see round this door that I started the trim in a nice, it's a very warm white, and I think it works really, really well.
Our crown moulding has now had 2 coats of paint, so that's finished. And our beautiful, I love the pink ceiling. It's this beautiful, subtle kind of damask pink. It's very, very gentle and romantic, and I love it. And with the combination of the grey and then the off-white crown moulding, it just really makes that ceiling pop. And we're actually going to be adding in, if I go back here, you'll see that we just have a light bulb right now. We're actually going to be putting in a ceiling rose that will be painted in the off-white. And we're going to have a beautiful chandelier there as well. So once I finish painting all the trim with the first coat, we then do go around with silicone and fill in any gaps or cracks, and then I'll do a second coat of trim. And this room is actually getting a 4-poster bed in it, so you'll have to stay tuned to see how I finish that. It's a piece that we picked up and we're restoring. And then this is our beautiful mirror unit that's going to go in the dressing room, and again it's going to be completely restored, finished, cleaned up, and the mirror will be put back on. We've taken it off at the moment to keep it safe, and that will go into the dressing room. So if we now head into the dressing room, you saw last week that we had already painted the walls in here. I've been working, as you saw, on the windows, and so our windows are now all painted up with 2 coats and finished. And although we still have some work outside to do on the windows, we've got to putty and clean all the paint from the outside, which you obviously can't do till the weather's nicer. They've actually cleaned up quite nicely inside, so I'm really pleased with how they're looking. And then, as you saw, I also stained the floor, and so the floor is now ready for its top coat. You can see where we've been walking backwards and forwards, so that's all going to get cleaned up, and then we're going to put 4 coats of our top coat on the top of this floor, and then it will obviously match the platform that the tub has been sitting on. And then if we move into our bathroom, you'll now see that all our tile is laid. So we're just waiting 24 hours for the mortar to set, and then this will all be grouted in the next day or so, and then we can actually add in the toilet and then the vanity, which will be put into this space. Here is again another old vanity that I picked up. I'm actually going to cut a hole in the top and restore it. And so you'll have to stay tuned to see what I'm doing with that too. But the tile has come out beautifully. We're just so happy with the pattern and the shape. And so we're getting very, very close to being able to use that. And that's got heated floors, so that's going to be really nice on the feet when we get out of the shower. I always love to look at before and afters, and this mantle transformation is a perfect example of how it was, and then with some paint, just the first coat of paint, we haven't even added the detail and the corbels we're going to put on, but look how it's transformed and how different it looks. So as you can see, it's been a really exciting week. Painting is probably one of my favorite things to do, because you really see an instant transformation, and you go from the green walls in here to the primer, which is white and nice and light, and then you put on the gray, and it just feels so different in the room. And that's what I love, is we're starting to feel how beautiful this room is going to be. So I'm going to get back to painting the trim. Check back with us next week, because fingers crossed the trim will be done, and we will have the floor in here stained next week and finished and top coated, and it will look different again. So have a great week, and I will see you on the next episode of the Lady Smith Manor Diaries.